So many random videos on my phone. Okay. This is my video from my counseling strategies class. I'm doing choice theory / reality therapy. This is my roommate / client, Danny. So good morning, thank you for coming in today. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling a little overwhelmed today.
A little overwhelmed. Is that about what we talked about last session, about some issues with your parents? And
it's a little bit of everything, like issues with my parents, issues with school, just everything, just life.
So you're feeling overwhelmed about imbalances in your life?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So what are the main components of this overwhelming imbalance?
Well, let's see. I have a tendency to be spending money that should be used for other things like food and like if I was gonna like go somewhere instead of selfish needs versus needs and wants.
So you're spending money that you don't necessarily have to be spending on things that aren't necessary for your life and for your survival.
Yeah, that aren't important.
Okay. And how is this spending affecting the rest of your life?
Well, it's like spending that could be used for other things. Like I could be putting this money aside to buy groceries or just saving it up. So during the summer, or if I get to the point where I don't have any money, like I can save it away so that when I get to that situation, I have it.
So this is an actual situation that you really should be saving this money and you're actually going to need it, or is it just something that's bothering you because of more of a principle type of thing?
More of a principle type thing. I would say it's more principle.
Okay, and so when we're looking at the basic needs of life, I would gather to say that your survival is being met, your survival needs. Was that something you'd agree with?
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's like, because survival is more like, oh, you need a roof over your head, you need food, you need water.
So that's not something you're struggling with at the moment?
That's not. It was more of spending more money on the luxuries, like small luxuries, like, oh, shopping online, which doesn't really need to be done as much as I do it, which is a lot.
So you're spending money that should be spent on survival needs for luxury items, but you're still getting the survival needs met?
Yeah.
Okay. How does this spending affect other areas of your life, such as how you're fitting in and your relationships?
But my relationships, it's more like with my parents, I'll get the call saying you need to stop spending money when this could be used for other things, because they threaten to cut me off a lot, and most of the money that I get is from them, which is more meant for survival needs like food, water, and other things, but I'm wasting on luxury items that I don't really necessarily need.
So the spending is putting a strain on your relationship with your parents?
Yeah, we have trust issues if I ask for money.
So your survival needs are still getting met, but it's putting putting a strain on your relationship with your parents. How is it affecting the power dynamic in your relationship or in your life? Do you feel like you need to have more power, that you have too much power?
I think I'm having too much power. Like, they're giving me the power, like, you can control this, but I'm clearly not. I'm kind of out of control with it. So I'm overusing the little power they're giving me. So I kind of don't really deserve it too much.
So you feel like you have too much power because you're able to decide on what you spend the money on, even though you know that it really should be spent on survival stuff. Okay. And along that path, how about your need for fun?
For fun, well, for fun, I don't do much, but I do more things on campus. Like, I'll go to the pool, I'll go to the beach, but I won't bring, like, study work with me, which I know I can take some time, like an hour. I can enjoy myself, and then an hour can be studying. But I just don't do the studying part when I'm just relaxing and, like, laying outside when it could be done.
So your need for fun isn't really being affected too much by this?
Not too much. It's more of my need for studying being affected.
And how about your freedom?
Freedom, I have a lot of it now that I think about it. Not like your parents can't say no to you doing something or just say, okay, just be safe and I just want to know where you're going. So freedom isn't, well, since I'm here, freedom's not too much. They want to know who I'm with, where I'm going. Mm-hmm. But if I was back at home and and my friends randomly said, oh, let's go out and do something, let's go get a bite to eat, and there goes with the money thing. I'm spending money on something that I could basically have at home, which is food, but I'm going out with friends to get that one little thing, which is going to cost me more than it would at home.
So the choices that you're making are to spend the money on the things you don't necessarily need, but there are fun things and luxury items that you are enjoying, but the money should be spent on survival needs. It's putting a strain on your relationship with your parents, and you struggle with maybe having too much power over this money. What choices or decisions, what are you doing to change this?
Try not to open up any websites to buy things. Try to avoid that.
Okay.
And more like think about my decisions, like, let's see, do I really, really need this right now? Because that can be done later or never, which would be fine. But I think more wisely, I'm like, okay, do I need this or do I want it? Because needs and wants are two completely different things.
So what is it that you would like to happen? In your ideal world, with this money spending situation, what do you want?
I just want to, obviously, in a perfect world, there would be a perfect balance of like how perfect balance between like day and night. You get both, but obviously you can get both, but one's gonna be more than the other.
And in this want for balance, where does money play into that?
Money plays in right on top of it, because when you are doing those luxuries, sometimes you are spending money, but when you're not doing those luxuries, you're kind of almost saving money.
And in this ideal world, what you want, would that money still be from your parents?
Yeah, it would be, because now I don't have a job, but in an ideal world, if I did have a job and I was making the money for myself, I wouldn't feel as bad about it. I feel more proud about it. I'm like, I'm making this money so I don't feel bad about spending it. But when it's someone else's money and I'm spending it without really thinking about it, I know there's going to be consequences.
So you want to get a job and to be able to have your own money to spend, so you don't have to worry about like straining the relationship with your parents. Okay, so let's think of a few scenarios. The first being you continue like getting money from your parents and spending the money how you currently are. What will that look like in a few months?
In a few months, it will most likely look very bad, because if the next few months I'll be at home, or I'll either be having a summer job and working on my own, providing my own money. If I went home, I would have to be living off my parents' money, or getting a job and providing my own money with working somewhere where I'm miserable with people who are rude to me every day.
So you're still struggling with this in a few months because you don't necessarily have the same freedom and you're still having that strain?
Yeah.
Okay. And let's think of some other things that we could do. So one example would be saving your money and resisting the temptation to spend it on things you don't necessarily need. Where would that put you?
That would put me in a better place with a sense of responsibility and like maturity, with my parents saying, see, I'm not going to spend so and so dollars each week on stupid crap, when I might just spend $0 a week or every 2 weeks.
So saving the money would put you in a better place?
Yeah.
Okay. And how would that affect your need for freedom?
Well, freedom isn't so much affected. It depends what you do with yourself. Like, if you say, oh, I'm going to go to the movies, but it's like, okay, you're spending a little bit of money, but that's not bad. It's just the freedom of the amount of freedom you give yourself, which I think I give myself like a decent amount of freedom, because in college you're on your own, no one's going to tell you no. But it's just like you have to kind of hold yourself back of like a limit of when you're going too far, when you're spending more time doing like luxury stuff, like, oh, I'm gonna go to the beach with my friends, I'm gonna go to a party or something, and not like.
So if you continue on the path that you're currently on, you feel like your freedom wouldn't be too restrained, but also if you decide to like save your money, you still feel like your freedom wouldn't suffer.
No,
at all.
I don't think okay. No, it wouldn't suffer. It's freedom has a strain, but it could be a choice of whether you want to go out or you don't.
So you don't feel like you'd be losing anything?
No.
Okay. And what about fun?
Well, fun, I have plenty of fun when I'm here, because like the beach and like things to do, so fun's really, it's at a decent like level for me, because I know, okay, when I've had enough fun and when I need to have some fun. But like I said, like if I was at home with my friends, they would want to all do fun things all the time, when I'm like, oh, but we just did this yesterday, and sometimes you get a little like worn out.
So with continue on the path that you're currently on, you're having fun, you are doing things you like, but by saving money you feel like your need for fun might suffer a bit, or?
It might suffer just a little bit, because when you're with your friends and they want to go out and do things, and sometimes it might be things that you can't afford to do at the moment, and you want to say, oh, I'm going to take a rain check, can't do it. It's not a huge big deal, but if it happens like reoccurringly, then it would be a problem. And that always used to be something like with my friends, like I would just get out from school, I would have work in a couple hours, and they'd be like, oh, hey, let's go do this, and I'm like, let's go get a bite to eat, or let's go to the mall really quick. It's like I really don't have the money to be spending just to even if I was walking around with them, but I'm like, I have work, I should rest up a little bit, do something else to occupy my time before going.
So this struggle with money is something that is not necessarily new in your life.
No.
You've been dealing with this. And how have you dealt with that in the past, this imbalance? The struggle?
In the past, I just wouldn't carry around, well, it was before I got debit cards and everything, I wouldn't carry around money. Like in middle school, I would just eat breakfast at home, take the bus, all said and done. And then when I got to my senior, like when I started getting into high school, I started going out more with my friends, and we started going to the mall and going to the movies, like doing girl stuff. And if I went somewhere I wanted to buy something, I wouldn't be able to if I didn't have money. And then eventually my parents started giving me money. And then eventually as I got older, that started becoming more problem, because I started going out a lot more with my friends and doing stuff.
So as you grew up, your freedom and your fun increased because you were able to do more things, you had money, but the money wasn't necessarily meant for that, and so it put strain. So this is something that you dealt with. Okay. And were you able to do anything to better that?
To better that?
Before you got to college?
Before I got to college. When I got my job, I learned that I spent more money on paying for gas for the week for my car, and just I went out and did stuff with my friends, but I would just be very cautious of what I would spend. So when I would get breakfast in the morning, I would get a bagel for $2. I wouldn't do it every day, but I would do it maybe twice a week. So I just more tracking of how much money I had to spend within a range of a week before I would get my next paycheck. Just save it up for luxuries after I graduated as a personal present to me. Yay, I did it, I got done.
So getting a job is something that's helped you in the past to learn more about what it takes to earn money and just how to save that money?
Yeah.
Okay, so what would it look like if you were to get a job now?
If I got a job now, I'd be more on back to that track of saving the money, because you know how much you're making each hour. So it'll be like every time you bought something, you'd be like, that was like 2 hours worth of work gone. So half of your shift gone because of how much you were spending. So you start to think of how much money you're spending and how much money you were making while you were working. So it's more like you start to like be more conservative with your money, saying, okay, I'm not going to spend it on this, this, and this, which what I did every week before, but I'm not going to do that now because I don't need to.
So when you had a job, you were able to put a value of time and associate that with how much money it was, how much of your time it would take to earn that money.
Yes.
So it made you think about like how much money actually is before you spent it.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you have the ability now to work the same way you did in high school, like with your life changing in college?
Yeah, but changing in college, you definitely get more sense of maturity. Like a little bit now, I still have that freedom, like I'm still getting money from my parents because I don't have a job, but I'm working towards getting one, so I don't have that baby, like, nanny, like them watching over me, watching how much I'm spending, when I could easily control that by getting a job. So I know how much like time and sweat like I'm doing that's earning me that money. So when I spent it, I won't, like, I'll think about it and like, did I really need to do that? Like, did I need to get that Starbucks drink? But you just start to value money more, thinking, okay, I spent like did 2 hours worth of work just for like $10. That's
so getting a job is something you would like to do and you feel like you're able to do?
I feel like I am able to do it.
And you're able to keep up with that commitment in college with your workload?
Life wasn't made easy. It's a struggle for everybody, but if I waited later in life to get a job after college, I would struggle 10 times more, even without the workload of college. But you'd be struggling just to survive on your own as an adult.
So in order to help this imbalance between spending money that's not necessarily meant for luxury items and fixing the strain with your parents and your relationship with them, one thing you could do is to get a job. Is there something else that you feel like would be beneficial to that?
I don't think so. I'm just trying to think. Like I said, it's the maturity thing that's beneficial to it because it shows a sense of responsibility. Like, I can handle myself in college. I might not be able to handle myself, let's say, if I was on my own next year, but when you keep like the same system of like being responsible and on track with your life, it will like benefit you in the future when you are out of college and you have a job, but then you're looking for a job that relates to what you just came out of college for, like a degree. So, but you'll start to learn more responsibility of like how to manage, like, okay, this needs to be used for bills, this needs to be used for my car, this needs to be used for food, no luxury items like movies, this, clothes.
So what I'd like to do is I'd like to make a plan with you about stuff that we can look at and we can do to help fix this issue you're dealing with. And so we've established that you would like to like find employment in order to take that responsibility of earning money onto yourself so you can decide what you want to do with it. So what are different paths you could take to get a job? What jobs are available to you that you would think?
What jobs are available? I would say the original kind of like job when you're like a teenager is working in a supermarket, babysitting, whatever the places that hire for like any position, it's better to take it so you like have money flowing in, but then look for like a job that relates to what you want to do with your life. Like, even if it's volunteering, you're still getting like a head start on something. You might not be getting money for that job, but eventually you're around those people, those upper people, whatever you want to do, you'll get opportunities from that, and then eventually you could get paid for whatever you're doing over there.
So you'd like to maybe get a typical job that people your age have, and also maybe do some either paid or unpaid volunteer work that could help you make money in the future?
Yes.
Okay, so what is one more step and what choice you can make to help
this future plan?
Mm-hmm.
I would say just try to keep, not even the money thing, it's more like keeping track with my life, like school-wise, like keep doing well in school and then things will pay off in the end and you won't have to worry about any like regrets saying, oh, okay, I stayed in my room, I studied all the time, but I graduated with honors maybe, and you succeeded in like what you wanted to do.
Okay, so in this plan that we have currently, you're looking to find a typical job, something that is easily accessible to you and at your current experience level, and then to also maybe find some volunteer work that will help you with money in the future. I think that's a really good plan. How do you plan to execute this?
Well, you gotta apply for jobs. Yes. You gotta apply, you gotta start looking. The best thing to do is, I started applying for jobs recently, and the best thing to do is just apply anywhere, even if you might not want to work there, because they might not take you or not, so it's best to apply everywhere. Just find something that's easy to be taught, like if you work at a supermarket, easiest thing that can be taught to you is being a cashier. And you're basically handling money, so you get money skills from that. And you learn other skills, like your reflexes become a lot more faster. That's what I learned from being a cashier a couple of months ago. You get more attentive that way.
So what ways are you looking for these jobs? And can you look for these jobs maybe through your school?
I am looking at through the school. I'm also looking from areas that I've been around, in like walking around in St. Pete or Tampa, places that I've been to, and sometimes I just walk up and say, oh, are you hiring? And they say, yes, we are, and just fill it out on our website and so, and then you got to put that into Triton Track, like with your resume and stuff.
Well, I think this is a great plan we've made so far. You know where to look for jobs through your school. Those are available to students, obviously, and also in the community to find jobs maybe as a cashier, looking at a grocery store, and also looking for volunteer work. So I really look forward to seeing you next time and talking about your progress. Thank you so much for coming in today.
You're welcome.
It's great talking to you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Okay, I kept